Good morning. Miss Deb, are you there?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Happy sunny Tuesday.
Amen. It's sunny here in Michigan. Is it sunny there in New Jersey?
It is, it's beautiful. It's cool, but it is beautiful.
Well, it's always cool in New Jersey. I mean, that's sort of everything
Yes,
needs to be cool in New Jersey.
yes, because we all wear our shades.
Yes. And today we're here to talk to you about abstinence from those nasty little things that get us addicted so quickly. We're talking about sugar. And you can do
Mhm.
anything for 3 weeks. For 3 weeks, you have need to think of it as a special reward, a special vacation, because if you think of it in positive terms, you will be very happy with your choices every day. You'll be able to say, I'm really glad I made that good food choice. I'm really
Mhm.
happy I did that. And you can do anything for 3 weeks. We've proven that, haven't we, Deb?
Oh, yes, we have many times over. Yep.
Yes. We'd like to do 3 weeks of sugar free as part of our quarterly um, vacation for our body. Because for years, a lot of us did not know about the sugar addiction. We did not know about how carbs can really challenge your body's digestion, especially if you're going through any kind of stress, if you're going through working long hours, if you're drinking soda instead of water. There were a lot of things growing up many of us did not know were not in our best interest. And the food industry, of course, understood the value of sugar. Remember, McDonald's was busted for doing the sugar water on the outside of the French fries before they deep.
Yes.
No wonder the kids were always screaming, "More McDonald's fries!"
Hey,
Yeah.
even the adults like their fries. Forget the kids.
More, more for me, more for me. Anyhow, we can do this. We have webinars on Facebook pages that talk to you about vision board making. We have webinars on Facebook pages that can help you with lists of snacks, all kinds of things, because we've done this quarterly now for like 4 years. So
Yes,
there's a lot of good material already in existence. Just as new material comes up, Deb and I like to remind you this is in your best interest. And for 3 weeks, you can do anything, right, Deb?
absolutely. And really, after the first few days, you're going to say, why didn't I do this before? Because your body just feels so much better.
And you're going to sleep better and you're going to feel better. I can't begin to tell you the difference that you're going to notice, sometimes very subtly. People don't even notice, well, I'm having more trouble sleeping. It's like, oh, I'm sleeping better.
Hmm.
It's kind of interesting how that works out.
That's true. And just you're going to find renewed energy and vigor. It's amazing. And with spring cleaning, for those of us that do that around the corner, what better way than to have more energy to complete all those tasks?
Yes, yes. And we have handouts. Deb, tell them how the handouts work.
Yes, if you look at your GoToWebinar control panel, you'll see one of the gray tabs says handouts, and there's two handouts listed. If you're not seeing the actual handouts, you need to click on the little arrow till it faces down and you'll see them listed. And if you click on them, it will allow you to print them out. And they're really great to have. So it's a good resource.
Right, and we're just going to remind you of some of the things you've seen in commercials, you've seen on news stories. Deb told me even on Channel 2 this morning, CBS, is that right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Had a special on the dangers of consuming too much soda. They did research, wasn't it soda or was it sugar in general?
Yes, yeah, soda specifically and sugary drinks in general. Yes.
Yeah, and so it was like, whoa, I'm glad we planned this. Other people will understand that it's not just us saying there's issues.
Hmm.
It's something we all know about ourselves. And so it really is helpful if you have it worked out ahead of time.
Right. A lot of people just narrow. in on the fact that sugar equals calories, and sugar can cause weight gain and things like that. But there's so many other factors of what sugar does within our body. I mean, until we started doing this, I wasn't aware of everything that it impacted.
Yeah, and that's why we have these little charts and these little explanations. So
Hmm.
figure out, um, well, no wonder Aunt Tilly got diabetes. She lived on cotton candy all year long. You get to make direct assumptions about what you have already seen and lived and heard from relatives.
Hmm.
I mean, relatives will tell you straight up, yep, I didn't know any better. I used to love to eat at Taco Bell.
Well, right, and it also impacts our white blood cells, which we know are needed to fight infection. And I remember you telling the story of the kids down south.
Yes.
They had contracted, was it a virus?
Yes.
Right, and the parents were giving them like ginger ale and things like that to settle their stomach, and in fact, it was actually making the condition worse because the blood cells couldn't do what they were supposed to be doing.
Right. And that makes it really, really difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
And
when the causes the body to produce less leptin, it's needed for appetite regulation. So a lot of people say to me, I don't know when I'm full. I don't know when I've had enough to eat. One of the side effects of getting over your 3 weeks, getting into day 4, is you find that you're less hungry. The
mm-hmm.
cravings are strictly a mental. I used to go by Starbucks and get one of those caramel macchiatos, but now I don't even want it. I know that's difficult to believe you could ever be in that position, but it's really, really true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for those of us that like to exercise, even if it's gentle walking and things like that, sugar disrupts how the amino acids in our body transfer to muscles, and we need that proper transfer to enable us to lift and carry and just move our bodies throughout the day.
Amen.
Mm-hmm. And are we able to mention that C word?
Yes.
Okay, sugar definitely fuels that C word, that bad disease that we don't like to talk about, but if you can reduce it and get off it, even for 3 weeks, it's very helpful.
Well, they came right out this morning on that newscast and said it's been established that sugar feeds cancer.
Hmm.
They said that right at the beginning. And it was like, whoa. People suddenly were paying attention.
Yeah, it's frightening when you hear about something like that because so many of us, when we're dealing with an illness, we turn to those so-called comfort foods, which are normally sugary in nature, and we're only making the matters worse. So it has to do with that lovely cycle that goes round and round and round.
And one of the things that's really important is that you remember if you think you're coming down with a virus, it's time to avoid sugar. Sugar
Hmm.
feeds all kinds of viruses. And this is the circle that makes a perpetual cycle out of what you're eating.
Hmm.
Tell them about it, Miss Deb.
Sure. Well, we eat sugar. We have that nice little cinnamon bun for breakfast, and we like it and we crave it. And sugar definitely has addictive properties. Well, when that sugar from that bun gets into our blood, the blood sugar levels spike. Dopamine is released in the brain. Makes us feel great. There's the addiction. Mass insulin is then secreted to drop your blood sugar levels. So then what happens? The blood sugar levels fall so rapidly and the insulin levels go up, and what your body does to support that is it raises your fat storage. So instead of burning it that we'd like to, we're actually holding on to it. The body craves the loss of that sugar high. So how do we solve that? We go and hunt for more sugar. We get hunger cravings, and we're digging around in our pocketbook or our office desk for another sugar high.
Do we keep sugar in our desk?
Some people do.
Well, that could be a trap. Every time you open that drawer, you'll be hearing, eat me.
Yeah, well, I had one of my teacher friends. Her bottom drawer was a treasure trove of sugar.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, yep.
So the kids know it was there?
I don't think so because it probably wouldn't have been there. But yeah, but it's just part of that cycle. You want it, you feel better, then you don't feel good, and then you want it again. So that's the cycle that we need to break by taking our vacation from sugar.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're feeling bad, like mid-morning, what's a good substitute?
Well, not one of those.
Oh, people think I'll have just one. They think I'll have just one Oreo cookie. We never had those around, so I'm not a fan. I didn't know about them. But let's move over here to my friend.
Ben and Jerry's.
Yes.
Yes,
Ben
when you
Jerry's.
get to view this, the more sugar cubes on this, those are the things you should stay away from.
Yes. And we talked about sweet fruits and vegetables. It's
Yes.
important that you have fresh fruit and vegetables, but not dried fruit. Tell them
I
about the
know.
dried fruit dangers.
Dried fruit, actually, when you dry a fruit, it concentrates the sugar. And Sue and I both didn't realize that. We always walked around with dried apricots or raisins, and I thought that was a good thing to have with me, but actually it is so concentrated. So what we do is we prepare to go bags. We have bags of healthy snacks that we just bring with us, and it really solves that problem.
Yes, like I'm famous for my unsalted cashews. And everybody
Mhm.
always goes, "Oh, I don't like those." I go, "That's why I carry those because nobody wants them. I get to have all the dry cashews I like."
Mhm. Yeah, and you're also famous for your celery sticks. Don't forget those.
Oh, yes, love celery. As a matter of fact, John just brought a whole big bunch in for me so I can make some new. I'm excited.
Yep, and I love those little personal bags of carrots, the little petite carrots. They come in little individual serving bags, and I love to have those with me. And it's a healthy snack throughout the day.
Well, that sounds good too.
Yeah, yeah, and you want to stay away from like some of those energy drinks because believe it or not, aside from the caffeine, there is sugar in those. Not as much as soda, but they're still not healthy. Tomato sauce. Who knew tomatoes was really a fruit and had a lot of hidden sugar in them? So you need to read labels. You need to take your time. And as Sue said, they're always changing the labels. But if you see any of those words as the first two ingredients, you want to really shy away from them.
Yeah, let's move in another direction.
Hmm. I'm look. I was looking at the chart. Even like the McDonald's soda, that one little small one had 12 cubes of sugar in it. That is a lot.
Yeah, and people are often surprised by cereal. They think, "Oh, it's cereal. It's got fiber. It's good for me." Well, if we could talk to the cereal and say, "I only want the fiber to process," we'd be good. Does it work
Mhm.
like that?
No.
No.
No, and a lot of those healthy cereals have the dried fruit in them, so you're back to that again.
But it tastes so good with milk, Deb.
It does. And you know what I was thinking of when we started, years ago, and parents still do. They give their kids juice and give their kids juice thinking that's healthier than soda. But juice has so much hidden sugar in it as well. And I have watched kids today drink those big 16-ounce, bottles of orange juice for breakfast when they come to school. That's a lot of sugar to start the day off with.
Yeah, you get to see them buzz around your classroom. Isn't
Well,
that exciting?
Well, they'll buzz for a little and then they do crash, believe it or not. I had one little girl, she did that and a Dunkin' donut every morning for breakfast. And within an hour, she was falling asleep on her desk because that's where the sugar crash came in. So yeah, it's true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, this is one of your printouts. It's really important that you understand the word fructose doesn't appear very much more. They've changed the name depending on the product. If it's a fruit base, if it's a corn syrup base, if it's, they have all these new names, they change one little ingredient so they can still put the sugar in there. They just change the name. We have to go back to our original rule, Deb. If you can't pronounce it or you don't know what it means, it probably means sugar.
That's true. Yeah, and you're right. They did take a lot of the. We always used to say stay away from the OSs, the OSEs, but they have gotten rid of those endings, and they made a lot of them sound like healthy things, like beet sugar. That doesn't sound so bad, but
Right?
it is.
Yeah, sadly, it really, really is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
those out and you can carry them with you. We ask you to please read the ingredients, especially if you've noticed there's been a packaging change. One of the
Right.
things I've noticed is they change the packaging, they make it smaller, they change the color, there's fewer ounces, and then read the ingredients. And it's amazing how they sneak things in on you.
And they've also made it really hard to read the ingredients because they print them in like a 1/8 size.
Well, yeah. You didn't really want to read that, did you?
So I have my little magnifying. I do. I have that little magnifying glass that I bring with me sometimes because even with my cheater glasses, I can't read them because the print is so small. So really, when it's that small and you can't see it, that's for me another little flag to be cautious of what's actually in it.
Right. And the flavored coffees. Tell them how discouraged you were when you found out about the flavored coffees.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's actually when I get coffee at home, it's a brewed coffee. But when you get it out at places like a Dunkin' Donuts and even Starbucks, it's a syrup flavor they're putting in it. They're not brewing like hazelnut coffee. It's a syrup. The syrup is sugar. So that's why it tastes so good when you're out versus what you make at home. So again, be very cautious. And they do it even in some of the iced teas. I went and had this wonderfully flavored iced tea, and as I'm drinking it, I'm like, man, this is really sweet. And the next time I went, I said, what's in that? And they showed me, and they brought over the pump bottle of what they put in it for the flavoring. So
Well,
be very cautious.
it wasn't good, huh?
Well, it wasn't good for me, but it tasted great. I'm going to be honest.
Dangers of the demon sugar.
Of course. Of course.
Okay, here's your other handout, and we're going to talk about this.
Right.
What really helps when you are going through this celebration of your good health by keeping sugar out of your body, it's really important that you increase the amount of water because you're going to have debris that's freed up. When you stop consuming sugar, your body is able to free up debris. And you want to wash that debris out. You want to
Right.
wash away the cells. You've created apoptosis by not feeding the sugar cells. And you really want to wash it away. And in washing it away, you are cleaner all over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you may initially run to the ladies' room or men's room more often to do this, but after a day or two, your body does readjust to the extra water, and you're not finding that urgency to go. But it does make such a difference in how you feel throughout the day. And if you want to add that Slim and Sassy in, that helps too.
Oh, yes, we highly recommend the Slim and Sassy because it is a metabolism balancer. So
That's good.
who are even people who are runners, people who exercise in their homes, they have those magic things that fold up under their bed. They bring them out. They exercise 20 minutes every morning before they get in the shower. God bless them. I admire that kind of discipline. But they enjoy the Slim and Sassy with water because it helps them balance their metabolism. Remember, you have 127 different hormones in your body, and they're interdependent. And one set is an ingredient for another set, and they have to work together. So, even though you may be healthy, if you've ever had a period of time in your life when you suffer from stress, dehydration, constipation, you were brought up in a dysfunctional home, there are some areas within your body that can always use a little fine tuning.
Hmm. Yeah,
You
and another thing to help us along is to make sure that we're declaring those positive intentions all day long and even stating that I love making healthy choices for my body.
right, and we talked about the fruit and veggie snacks, put them together in Ziplocs ahead of time. So when you become overcome or you're thinking like, I'm on a diet, you're not really on a diet, you're on a celebration of Easter's coming, and isn't Aunt Tilly's pecan pie going to be amazing? Okay. Because your 3 weeks will be over then, right?
That's true.
Okay. And because it's cold out in many of the states, I'm saying 2 10-minute rapid walks each day. Move everything around. Again, let's help the things leave you don't need inside your body anymore. You're going to drink your water, you're going to take your walks. And before you start, I mean, if you want to start this today, if you want to start it on Monday, whatever day you decide, you've got to get rid of everything. The whole family has to be on this plan. The whole family needs to work together on this. Several people I worked with in Canada last year said the kids were the biggest problem because they would go through the cupboards and they would go through the freezer and they would find things and say, oh, this doesn't have much sugar. So they had to really restart after about a week of thoroughly cleaning out their cupboards. So whole fruit for sweets is the best you can do. We just don't want you eating like a whole bowl of strawberries or, 2 big bowls of blueberries. Everything in moderation,
Mm-hmm.
and tell them why we don't use artificial sweeteners.
Well, we think that we're doing the right thing, but the artificial sweeteners can make you actually desire sweet food. Even stevia, which is the in sweetener right now, because supposedly it's natural and not artificial. But when you're drinking sweet things, it really makes you crave more sweets. So if you can just eliminate them, it makes it such an easier process.
Yeah, because people say, well, what can I substitute? What can I use? I always put 3 hunks of sugar in my coffee. And I start with, well, let's work up to this. Let's start 4 days ahead of time just on the coffee. Let's, use just 2 and then use just 1. Taper down because
Mm-hmm.
there's no substitute. If you go to honey, you develop a new habit that short term won't hurt you, but long term could. And you've got to remember to say good things to yourself when you make good decisions. When you leave the Ben and Jerry's aisle without buying anything, you've got to congratulate yourself for participating wholeheartedly in your 3 weeks. And if you make a mistake, right? Aunt Tilly says you got to bite my chocolate cake. You have one bite, okay? Don't give up the rest of the day. Debbie
That's
used to
right.
tell me stories about how ladies would go nuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they goofed up on Monday, then they said, no, no, I'll start again next Sunday. And that was ridiculous. So they went back to bad eating for the whole rest of the week, which often led to more weight gain because of what they were eating. So no, forgive yourself for doing what you did and just pick up and move on. Don't beat yourself up over it.
Oh, Lord, no. We can't have that.
And oh, I love that forgiveness.
Yes.
We just said that. Forgive yourself.
Yes. And look, on a timely basis, we have a formula right here for you. Roman chamomile, 3 drops, geranium, 2 drops, frankincense, 3 drops. And let's mix that up with a little fractionated coconut oil of 10 drops. And
Mm-hmm.
you got to start walking around. You apply it to your wrists, back of the neck, inhale deeply, and you're preparing yourself to feel good in a new way. You're
Mm-hmm.
preparing yourself to feel different because in absence of sugar, you're going to feel different. You have to forgive yourself for putting off your own happiness. You have to make up phrases you can say all day long that are going to write over the misinformation that justified another quart of Ben and Jerry's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you know that I know that this works because you know it took me a long time to even like geranium, but I actually make this in a large roller bottle and I have it with me at all times. So it's in my bag. It's so if I'm at work, if I'm with a client, if I'm just out in the supermarket and I feel I need a little bit of help to get me through and not go down that cookie aisle, I rub that on immediately. And I inhale it, and it really does help.
And you have to give yourself credit for being competent to express what you want and have the courage to complete your lifestyle change.
Hmm.
Forgive yourself for believing misinformation about yourself and rapidly accept new feelings as good and true for you. I'm allowing others to be wrong quietly and find I am happy to dwell on discovering more of my virtues and free myself of harsh judgment of myself and others. We don't tell our friends and family we're doing this. We forgot to mention that part, Deb.
I know.
Because why? What are they going to do if you tell them you're taking a little vacation from sugar?
You know what? It's sad to say, but there's sabotage. They actually go out of their way to have you over and, oh, look, I made your favorite dessert. Or we're sending out for pizza, or anything. They don't want you to be successful because they're not doing it themselves, or there's some jealousy that maybe you have just feel better about yourself. And I mean, it was hard to see that and really acknowledge it, but I have witnessed that. So just be proud of yourself and keep it to yourself. And if someone says anything, oh, are you dieting? I'm just trying to be healthy.
Right. Or, you know what? I forgot we were having lunch. I already ate. I mean,
Mm.
but you can't be drooling, okay? No drooling. They'll give it.
This is so true, Sue. I'm so glad that you put this in. All those traps.
Right, because um, mistakes I made when we first started doing this was I wasn't hungry when I first got up, so I'd wait too long to eat, and then I didn't want to eat carefully. Don't let yourself get too hungry. That's not good.
Hmm.
And bad timing on emotional triggers. If someone is calling you that you're not comfortable with in your new state, especially the first 3 or 4 days, the little crabbiness sometimes happens. Let the phone go to message. Decide if you want to call them back and if you want to talk about whatever it is they left you a message about. Plan activities with virtue oriented people. Do not respond to compliments or criticism. Remember, you're doing this for you. So if somebody says, wow, it looks like you dropped 10 pounds, just go, really? Well, that's a good thing because I'm looking at myself a little different now. And leftovers, put them in the freezer. If you go to an anniversary party, they give you cake and ice cream to go, put it in the freezer. It'll still be there in 3 weeks.
Hmm.
And balance your vegetables and protein. You're very good at that, Deb.
Oh, yeah. I take the time to really, believe it or not, to plan out my meals. A lot of people don't do that, but I'm always making sure I have fresh vegetables, or I'll cook up a whole pot of broccoli, if that's what I'm choosing to have, and have it available for the meals, because it's really important that you have protein and vegetables together, versus like protein and something that's more carb related. So be sure to include those. And you know what? When you shop the vegetable aisles, there's so many new ones out there. It's
Oh, yeah,
amazing.
we tried lots of new stuff. Every time we do this 3 week cleanse, we get
Mhm.
acquainted with new vegetables. Deb even eats asparagus now.
I do. And
And avocado.
yes, I do. And I would never have those things before. And a great invention for those of you that have not found it yet is a spiralizer. You take this healthy zucchini and turn it into spaghetti. It's amazing.
Do you cook it different?
Literally, when I spiralize it, I make it like a thinner spaghetti noodle, and you throw it in boiling water for like barely a minute, and it's cooked. And then you can just add, like I do it like a primavera and put more vegetables on top, and I love it. And it's so satisfying because your eyes, you get such a big plate of it, so you just can't believe what you're eating.
Yes. And stay off Facebook. Give yourself vacation from Facebook. Clean out a closet. Do something different so that you can say at the end of the day, I was very productive. I cleaned out 2 of my junk drawers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. We talked about this earlier. We're just going to remind you
Yeah.
the same companies that bring you the high blood pressure medication also prepare the ingredients for diet products for all of our beverage manufacturers.
Hmm.
So let me think. Do you think there could be a correlation between needing blood pressure medication and consuming diet products?
There just might be. Hmm.
Never goes bad. They date them now just for fun, okay? But it never goes bad. We could do that George Carlin thing where you pour like honey on the sidewalk and a diet product and see which one the ants clean up first.
Yes. Yeah. They did that with butter and margarine too. That was interesting.
Yes, the bugs know. They know what's good for them.
Well, I think the line that you had at the bottom there, the longer the shelf life, the shorter the human life. That's really telling.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Now I know there's people who use hyfricators and dry vegetables and dry fruit, to save it, in their storage, food
Right.
storage. That's different. We're
Right.
talking about the prepared foods that they use, a lot of things that are not food.
Hmm.
Okay, this is a summary.
Right. Right. So our goal is to get off of sugar. So these are some of the things that you want to eliminate. Sweeteners, white and brown sugar, syrups, agave, soda, and diet drinks, pre-packaged sauces, condiments, of course, cocktails and beer. Yes, there is sugar in alcohol.
Yes, there is.
Pre-packaged items with added sugars. The juice, even the new, like people go get those new green smoothies
Oh yeah.
at like the Whole Food stores.
Yes.
Yeah, and of course, refined grains. I love, like white bread, white rice, pasta, things like that. Eliminate them.
And limit the amount of dark chocolate, even though that's better for you.
Hmm.
Let's not have one of the big bars every day. Let's have a little chunk. And fruit is good for you, except berries. You notice berries are so high in sugar.
They are.
Starchy vegetables, potatoes, carrots, peas, those are all starch. Cauliflower, those are all heavy in starch.
Hmm.
You can limit the whole grains, quinoa, couscous, buckwheat, legumes, beans, lentil, chickpeas. Limit those because if you get carried away, again, the body's forced to put that food through several processes. And when it gets lazy, it just makes fat cells.
Right. So, what should we focus on? Water and lots of it. Leafy greens and other vegetables. The healthy fats that you find in avocados, nuts, olive oils. Um, Focus on berries and clean proteins, organic salmon, non GMO tofu, grass fed beef, things like that.
Yeah, and for 3 weeks, you can afford it because I've had people write to me, oh, it's so expensive. It is not. Shop carefully, shop every day for your curtailed meals. Only bring into the house what you can eat. Do not bring in bags of chips and diet soda for your teenagers. Don't do that. Everybody needs the vacation.
Hmm.
And here's some oils to help you along.
Ooh.
Be gentle with yourself. You're meeting parts of you that you have long been at war with. Take all the time you need. Here's the deal. When you make good decisions for your health, even for just 3 weeks, you're being very cool to yourself. You're going to find out you have new strengths, new weaknesses, new capacities. You're going to discover virtues if you're open to it. If you focus on what you can't have, you'll be miserable. If you focus on, let me try this new orange vegetable, you will be amazed. And magnolia is a great calmer. It's even more calming than lavender for most of us.
Hmm.
Vetiver is great at night to help you sleep. Serenity, Siberian fir is amazing to help when you're changing eating patterns. A lot of people don't talk about that, but it's really very good for you. And you put it right on your wrist, you put it right in the back of your neck. It's soothing to the brain that's screaming, I want to rush, I want to rush. Yarrow palm, Of course, great because it balances, again, the hormone systems.
Mm-hmm.
Clove is a great soother, especially at night. Put in the bottom of your big toes. And lavender. And we already mentioned Slim and Sassy for during the day with your water.
Right.
These are all very helpful tools you already have in your pocket. Please get them out and use them.
Mm. Yeah, because like this, like anything, the use of the oils along with our positive affirmations make the transition easier to a healthier lifestyle. And we forget that we have these tools with us, right with us. So bring them with you, carry them with you, make a routine throughout your day, start your day off with some. I start off with Yarrow Palm. I drop them right on my hand, and I enjoy a nice little taste of it every morning. And it's a great way to start. So get in those new healthy habits.
Yep. Then remember, we have many Facebook pages you would enjoy. The
Mm-hmm.
Personal Peaceful Growth Calendar is a Facebook page. There's 53 webinars in changing parts of your thinking to help you feel better all over. It is a great place. We just opened a new website with the help of Terry and Paul Helms, and it's called Oils in You with drsue.com. And there's interesting handout information that's not available anywhere else, just on the website. And we add new webinars and handouts every week.
Mm-hmm.
And please, Debbie, tell them the address they can write to if they want to order peaceful calendars or books or affirmations.
Right. You can write to us at Happy Cal, HAPPYCAL 359 at gmail.com. And I try to look at that every day, if not every 2 days, and I will help you find whatever you need. So we're happy to hear from you.
And thank you for joining us today and getting on this journey with us. Shelly and
So much fun.
Sue
Thank
Pine and
you,
Shelly
Sue.
Brown both say hello, Deb.
Hi, everybody. And thank you again, Sue. And I'm looking forward to a great 3 weeks.
Yes, me too. We probably should have another meeting of this group next Tuesday. What do you think?
All right. Sounds like a plan.
All right, we'll send you a notice.
Okay. Yes, we'll let them we'll let them share their good success stories for the week. That would be great.
Yeah, write to us and tell us how good you're doing. We would
Perfect.
appreciate it. Thank you so much. Talk to you next week.
Okay, bye.